Good morning. Welcome to the homestead. Glad you've joined us. Well, this morning I'm going to plant some potatoes that have sprouted. They use the word chitting. They chit it. And what they tell you to do is to take a potato. If it's little like this, don't cut it in half. But if it's bigger than this, you can cut it in half as long as you have a couple of eyes on it. This one happens to have two eyes that are on the top. One's big, one's little. And then there were eyes on the rest of it, and it's instructed that you cut those extra eyes out. You only want like one to two per potato, because you want the potatoes to be bigger. The more eyes you have trying to grow, the smaller the potato. So they say break it down to just one or two per potato, especially if they're this little, and then cut the others out. Then wait. After you do that, you have to let it scar. So then 1 week later you can plant them. It's been a week since I cut all the little eyes out, and so I'm going to go ahead and plant these potatoes. Here's another one. This one has a little bit bigger than the other one, and each one of these I left only two. This one has a little one here and a big one here. This one has a big one and a little one there, and this one has a big one and a little one there. And so we're going to plant those face up and in the ground. Now, what kind of potatoes are these? I have no idea. They're organic potatoes from the grocery store, and so we're going to just see if they sprout. A lot of people like to do the seed potatoes, and I did that a couple years ago. I bought seed potatoes, and they grew, and then the grasshoppers ate all the growth, and that was the end of that. But there were some that did go ahead and produce potatoes, but the amount of potatoes they produced was way less than what it cost me to buy those seed potatoes. So I decided I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to buy organic potatoes from the grocery store and do it this way and see how that works. And if it works well, I won't buy the seed potatoes anymore. The reason that you buy seed potatoes is because supposedly they're guaranteed not to have any bugs, or not bugs, but I don't know, disease or something. But I'm going to have to take my chance on the disease thing, because I can't afford seed potatoes that aren't going to actually give me a lot of potatoes. So let's go ahead and plant these in the ground. And because I don't know what kind of potatoes these are, I don't know if they are the kind that grows out or the kind that grow up. So we'll have to play that one by ear, and go ahead and just plant them in the ground, and then we'll keep mounding them up. And they say you can mound them up with straw, and so I'll do that. My legs are kind of not happy being all scrunched up like this. I'd get down on my knees, which I did, but apparently it's really wet under there, and the wet moisture's coming through that cloth, so my knee's now wet. Right beside me in my hay, I'm growing mushrooms, probably poisonous mushrooms with our luck, but the bottom of the straw still had plastic on it, and right around that edge where it had plastic is where the mushrooms are coming out, and they're pretty gross. I'll show those to you in just a minute, but right now let's go ahead and get these potatoes planted into the ground. I'm going to have to get me a bucket or something to put my weed scraps in, so I can dispose of them in the mulch bin or something. The top layer is kind of hard, but it gets real soft right underneath the top of the soil. So I'm just poking at it to kind of break it up. what I understand is that potatoes like loose soil, and this is definitely loose soil once you get off the top layer. Now I'm not going to plant these potatoes deep. I'm just going to plant them surface, because remember, these are the self-watering buckets, and so underneath here, down below here, are the bottles. And I don't want the potatoes to start growing into the bottle, sorry. And so I'm going to plant them here, and then I'm just going to cover them with dirt instead of digging deep. I have 5 potatoes. This container right here probably won't take 5 potatoes. You don't want to crowd them. So I'm just going to put 2 potatoes, 3 potatoes, 1, 2, 3 in this one, and 2 potatoes in the one beside it. I have more potatoes that are also chitting right now. Red potato and a big yellow potato, or russet potato. So we're gonna have to see how that goes. Wish me luck that these things grow. Let's get some soil. This garden bag mix is real wet here on top. And we want to water these things real good this one time. And so I'm going to go ahead and put some water on it, but mostly just directly, because this, finger deep worth of real wet stuff. And being that I don't want the bottom to be as wet as the top, I'll put straw on it. It'll retain a lot of this moisture. The potatoes can draw from it. But anyhow, let's get a bucket. I just got a little bit of straw right here. When I see the sprouts coming through the dirt, I'll add more straw. But right now, this is all I'm going to do for these. I got these other 2 I'm going to put right next door. Okay, I decided not to go on my knees again, so I'm sitting on the bench. Anyway, let's get to the asparagus. You remember when I showed you that it was in a bag in the garage and it started to sprout? And let's see what it looks like a week later. This one here, it kept growing up into, so this one was tucked, so I pulled him out. These are the females, if I understand correctly. And then these are the males. These are the males. This is your asparagus right here. The ferns are female. The spears are males, if I understand correctly. And I have some spears coming up in quite a few places, but some of that didn't grow. We had a bunch of stuff over here that was growing and sticking out of the ground. I do not see it anymore. So here's one. Oh, this one goes like this and then up like that. So traumatized but not killed. Okay, well, anyhow, that's my asparagus. I do hope you saw it. I hope the video didn't screw up in some way and you missed it. But anyway, that's my asparagus. It's growing really well. And I don't think it was traumatized that badly. Part of it maybe, but part of it definitely not. Now with my potatoes, I do have 6 more potatoes to plant. 3 the red, I'm going to cut them in half. So I have 3 red potatoes and 3 yellow potatoes, but they're big. So I'm doing the eyes at both ends on this one because there's lots of eyes on these. When they chit, I will cut out the ones I don't want, cut these things in half, and then now I have 6 red and 6 white. But not enough room indoors to plant those. So I've got those indoors planted, but I'm going to have to figure out where to plant the other ones and what kind of tubs to put them in. Currently, I do not have any more tubs than what we see inside the garden tunnel. I have the 2 half ones out there, and they collected the rainwater, and that's what I watered the asparagus with, was the rainwater that I collected out of the green bucket to put in this one here. And so I have grow bags which are going to go down the center on these benches here, which will grow the smaller things that we're going to be growing. But I did potatoes in the grow beds last year, and I did not get very good, but I should be able to grow 1 potato per grow bag. And I have the ones that are made for potatoes, so I have 3 of those, so we'll see. Anyhow, that's all the gardening today because I had to go help Lee. We're raising a building.